Hello everyone and welcome to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be working on a carbonator. This carbonator has had some leaks. You can see water trails where the seals have been leaking or the fittings have been leaking. So I will be replacing the fittings and the inserts for these areas here. Just for those who don't know, I'm just going to go over a few of the components on the carbonator. You have your float assembly right here, which consists of a water level probe and a float mechanism. Okay, and it plugs in to the motor assembly. This is your carbonator motor. This copper piece right here is your Mcann pump. And then you have your water and CO2 tank right here. This is where your plain water would come out. This is where your carbonated water will come out. And this is where your CO2 would go into. CO2 coming in to the tank. And then you have your pressure relief valve right here. Just flip it up and then it will release pressure. So for right now, I'm going to be basically going over replacing the carbonator pump. This carbonator pump has been given some issues, so I'm going to replace the carbonator pump. I will also be replacing this bypass valve right here. This is a backflow preventer. Let's see if I can. There you go. Right here. This is your backflow preventer. I will be replacing that as well. And then we're going to just go ahead and get into it. Give me a moment to get set up and then we'll get started. Okay, and I'm back on now. Now I'm first going to start by removing this fitting right here, because I'm going to use this fitting on the new Mcann pump that I'm going to put in. So I just want to remove this first and get this out of the way. Okay, that's the fitting there. Gonna remove it, gonna put some new Teflon tape around there, and then we can use it on the new Mcann pump. Now I'm gonna remove this fitting so that I can remove the Mcann pump. I won't really have to remove the bypass valve right now, because we're not going to be reusing this backflow preventer. I mean, there won't be any need for us to use that. I just had to check underneath there. You want to make sure that you have the inserts for these fittings in place inside of the nut. Because if you don't have the insert in there, usually these fittings will leak on you. So you want to always check to make sure that your fittings have the proper inserts in them. Okay. Right now, hopefully you can make that out pretty good. I'm going to be removing this Mcann pump right here. I have the line disconnected. Once I get the new assembly on there, I'll be able to reconnect this. Okay, that is your Mcann pump. Does turn pretty easy, but I believe more so the issue was that this bypass valve was leaking out. So you can see it's been leaking for a while. You can see evidence of it where it was leaking out right around there. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace the whole assembly. It does look like it has a little wear and tear on it. So I'll go ahead and replace the whole assembly. Then what I want to do is just going to go in here. Just want to take a look at the mechanism right in here. That motor is not bound, so the motor is still good. And you can even put a little screwdriver in there and make sure it turns so you can see it, that it is turning freely. It's not bound or anything. So we should be good on that end. Just give me 1 second to get the new valve set up. Here is my new bypass valve that I'm gonna install. This is the new Mcann pump. And we're gonna be putting that, I'm gonna assemble that right now, and then we'll be ready to get it reconnected. Give me a few moments. Okay, now I have my fittings in place. Have each of the fittings in place. This is the fitting for your inlet side. Okay, you can see the arrow pointing down for the inlet. And this is the fitting. This is the backflow preventer fitting. And you can see it's on the outlet side. This is your arrow showing you the inlet and the outlet side of the Mcann pump. So you want to be sure you have your fittings on the right side. So now I'm going to get started, get this reassembled, and connect the Mcann pump back up to the motor, and then reassemble it inside the site. Right now I'm outside working on it because the area was a little crowded. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this reassembled, and we'll be able to hook it up and see how it works. Okay, just getting my Mcann pump in place and tightening up the clamp right now. You want to make sure that your clamp is secured fully so that the Mcann pump does not separate from the motor. There we go. That's on there securely. Let me just, gonna have to adjust it a little bit. You just want to make sure you're able to reconnect your fittings. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me get this back on, right? And you want to always remember about your inserts on these fittings, okay? You got, this is a 3/8 fitting, so you want to make sure you have a 3/8 insert for it as well. So you want to avoid any leakage. Not getting a good line up with that right now. Sometimes you have to adjust it a couple of times to get the right alignment for the fitting. And then you can go back and make sure all of your fittings are tight. So that's secure now. Now I'm just going to go back here and secure this nut because I had loosened it just a little bit. That's good. All right, so we have our backflow preventer connected. Have the new Mcann pump connected as well. I have all of the fittings secured. So now I'm going to go ahead and run this, take this back in, see if we can power it up. I'll connect my CO2 line. I'll connect the carbonated water line and the plain water line, and then I'm going to allow the water to fill this tank first, and then I'm going to open up my CO2 line to allow the CO2 to blend in with the water, and then we should be good to go from there. But we'll see how it works out. I'm not sure if you guys can make it out, but that's the brass pump. So 250 number. But these Mcann pumps come in different sizes. So this is a size for this Mcann pump. Okay, so this is a 250. Sometimes you'll have a 170, but this one is a 250, and that's the part number for it. If you can make it out, you might want to take a note of it if you ever run into a situation where you'll need one of these. And I also have a part number for this backflow preventer that I put in. This is the part number for the backflow preventer. Okay. And you can get these at any warehouse or beverage supply store or online. You just want to look up a backflow preventer, and this is a part number that you should be able to use if you go through Parts Town or anything like that. So those are all set right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go back inside and we'll see what we get. Okay, so hopefully you all can hear me. It's a little noisy in here, and I'm up under a counter, but um, I'm about to go ahead and open up the water line, and allow the tank, this carb tank, to go ahead and fill up. And then you'll see me pull this lever right here. I'm gonna pull it up and allow the air to escape while the water is filling. And then it kind of makes it better once the CO2 is added, to allow the water to mix well with the CO2. So I'm about to let that start filling up. Let that water come out right there, and then you're going to see a little water spit out here, and then I'm going to shut this as soon as it's full with water. But this way, you know, you don't have like built up air in there that could be preventing the flow of the water. It's usually good to put like a little rag right here, have a rag ready so that when the water comes out, you can just go ahead and hit it and dry it up. It takes a few seconds for it to fill up. Everyone does it a little different. Some people will add the water after they open up the CO2 line, but I prefer to add the water first, and then I know the tank is full, and then I go ahead and open up the CO2 line. So I guess it's your preference, but right now I'm just checking to make sure there's no leaks in any of the lines. Once I get this opened up, once it fills up, then we'll be able to allow it to see how it cycles once the soda machine calls for a product. There we go. I think you saw it come out. The water came out. Now it's just finishing up filling. Now it should be able to finish filling, and if we don't have any other issues, like if this float assembly is still good, then everything should be okay, So now I'm going to go ahead and open up my CO2 line, which is right here. You get that open up, and then that allows the CO2 to go in. And then I'm just going to push it a little bit to position it where it's going to go underneath the counter here. And then I can go ahead and plug it in. Oh, that's spitting out. Give me a second. Let me clean this up, and then we'll go back to it. Okay, so you're seeing this leaked out of that valve as soon as I plugged it in. So sorry for the background noise. It's a little crowded in here. It's around lunchtime, so it's going to be a little noisy. But what I'm going to have to do is, I'm pretty sure this float is the issue. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this float assembly, and then we'll go from there to check it out. Okay, so I'm getting ready to remove this float assembly. I've already removed the probe assembly. Now I'm going to remove the float. This float assembly has two parts to it. It has the probe assembly, which is on the top. It gets inserted into the hole, and the float assembly is on the inside of the tank. And when that float rises, this probe will sense that, and then it should shut off the flow of water going into the carbonator. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that, and then we'll see what we get from there. At least you got to see what happens when the probe and float assembly do not function correctly. It leaks all over. So I got my probe assembly out right now. I'm sorry, I got my float assembly out. And as you can see, this float, it rises up, and as the water comes in, it'll go up, and then that'll let the probe know to stop filling, to allow that carbonator to stop filling. And then when it goes down low, it'll go ahead and start filling. But not sure if you can see it too good, but there is a little buildup on it. So I'm not sure if that might be affecting the probe from sensing it. So I'm going to go ahead and put on this new assembly, and then we'll see how it does from there. Just give me a few minutes. Okay, so I have the new probe is in place, the new probe assembly and float. I'm just cleaning up some of the excess water that leaked by when I plugged it in last time. So right now, once I get this cleaned up here, I'm gonna go ahead and try it out, plug it in. All right, so right now we're plugged in. We got no apparent leaks right now. Everything is in place. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling some product off of the soda machine, and then we can check this out the rest of the way. Just gonna try a couple of flavors here. Get it to pull. See if I can get a cup, and then we'll check them out. Check out each of the flavors, make sure they're all going, and then once I do a few flavors, then this carbonator is gonna turn on. So we'll check that out in a minute. Okay, you just seen that carbonator came on and it shut off just fine. So it's cycling good. I'm gonna go ahead and pull some more product off so you can see how it'll operate when that carbonator comes on. Should come on in a few seconds here. Got to keep pulling product so that the carbonator will call for a CO2. There you go. There you go. See, the carbonator comes on, and then it should complete once it fills back up. Yeah, put a little light in there. There you go. So that's what it ended up happening. Was it did have a bad Mcann pump and a bad backflow preventer, but also the float assembly was bad. So I went ahead and replaced that float assembly after I replaced the Mcann pump and the bypass, the backflow preventer. So right now I'm just looking around for any leaks. Don't see any leaks at any of the connections. They're all secure. And also, just to show you, this backflow preventer, it has a vent valve, a vent port right here. What I did was I attached a line so that if this backflow preventer ever fails, the water won't just come out into the counter. It's going to go through this tube, and then it's going to go down into the floor drain right here, okay? So that's all I have on this, everyone. I thank you all for watching. I appreciate your support. I'd like to say thank you to all of the channel members and all of the website members. And I will see you all on the next one. Thank you.